Hello YouTube, it is Championdjk coming at you again with another weekly episode, and as usual I've got some pretty cool stuff to show you. I still am kind of backlogged with stuff to show, which is a good problem to have because I go through streaks sometimes where I won't find really anything in a week, and now you're guaranteed to get some pretty good content for the coming weeks. So this week, I'm going to show you a few things. I've got a bunch of stuff that I ended up getting from Heavy Metal 164 from Travis. So there's stuff I got from him. I'm going to show you that here in just a second. And then I got this. I got one Hot Wheels to show, and it's this guy right here. This is a really sweet Zamac, the Subi. Really glad to at least get one of these. My buddy Todd picked me up a Zamac set. I had found the other two cars, but now this completes that set of three cars that was in that case code. I think it was J cases. So Walmart and Zamac. So that's pretty cool to get this Subaru and check it off the list. We'll open it up in the next segment of the video and kind of check it out. It's a really nice new casting for 2020, and that's definitely the best look for it, I think, is Zamac that's come out in so far. I think it's been blue, red, and there's that one in Zamac. And Zamac looks really cool. So there's that. A couple of two separate purchases I got off of eBay, and this was actually, I think, a couple weeks ago that I picked up these two cars. This is a casting I collect from Johnny Lightning, and I kind of watch auctions and try to find these cars. A lot of times when these Ford GTs come up, the same ones come up over and over and over again, and people are usually asking a little bit too much for them, or more than I'm willing to pay for it anyway. And you guys know from watching my videos, I'm pretty patient when it comes to just waiting for the right deal to come by. But I did see this one and this one kind of come up recently, and they were a pretty good auction price, and I just bid on it. I ended up winning both. Different sellers, but checking both of these off of my Ford GT Johnny Lightning list. I'm not going after any of the white Lightnings or anything, and this is not a white Lightning, by the way. It's just white car. There's a few that I still need. Some of them are going to be kind of tough to find. They don't come up very often, but really glad to check these two off the list. This one is from Muscle Cars series. Probably came out around, where is the year on the back of these cards? Whatever, I guess it really doesn't matter. Came out at some point. And then this 2005 Ford GT was in the Gold series, which these were kind of neat. They came with an acrylic case and stuff, and kind of in like a blister pack. So kind of cool. We'll open both of those, what the heck, in the next segment, and take a peek at those two cars. The rest of the stuff I'm going to show you I got from Heavy Metal 164, and of course if you're familiar with his channel, his Instagram, and all that stuff, he's really into the premium diecast stuff, and his collection is very fluid. Stuff moves in and out of it, where my collection tends to be a black hole, and once stuff enters, it doesn't really leave. I think I mentioned that already, but whatever. Anyway, so I got some stuff from him, and it's some pretty cool items that he had, and some of the stuff he just gave me a really good deal on that I couldn't refuse. So I got one Kyosho. It's a Kyosho Ferrari. It's a 365 GTB4 Competizione. I don't know if I pronounced that right at all, but it's a pretty cool car, Kyosho Ferrari, in black. And then I got this Tomica Limited Hummer H2. It's an H2, yeah, it's an H2. It's pretty massive. I don't know what scale it's in. It should be probably pretty close to 164. We'll find out. Sometimes these Tomica Limited cars run a little bit big, so we'll check it out. Hopefully it'll have it listed on the bottom of the car. And then this ignition model, Toyota Supra, is pretty cool. I do have one of these Toyota Supras. I don't have the red one. I have it in gold. I got it from Surplus Goodies. I'm not sure where he picked up this Supra from, but it's kind of cool to get this one too. This one's in red. Eventually I am going to have to give up some stuff because I really am out of room in here, to be quite honest. between my huge collection of Auto World, Greenlight, Johnny Lightning, Hot Wheels, premium diecast brands. I just collect too much stuff. But the problem is I just like too much stuff, you know. It's hard to let any of it go. So, but there is some stuff I probably should go through. I need to go through stuff, log stuff, get rid of stuff. We'll see what happens. This right here is a Welly Pontiac Firebird. That's just kind of neat. Oddball. You know, I like Firebirds and stuff, even though I'm not a huge fan of like the newer generation of Firebird. This thing's kind of cool because it's a Welly. I haven't really seen it before, so it's kind of neat. And then this is a Racing Champions Chevy Camaro. Like the same generation as that Firebird. So there's that. He threw those in. Those were like little freebies. And then I got some Tomica Limited Vintage. Smile for the thumbnail. All right, so some of these are pretty basic, and some of these are super cool. So we got a Toyota Mark II Grande. This looks boring in the package, but tell you what, I actually already took this thing out. It's actually really, really cool. So there's that one. That's LVN 179. Of course, we're going to look at these all out of the box in the second segment, so stay tuned for that. This one is a Nissan Cedric 2000 GL. This one is a Nissan Gloria Gran Turismo Ultima. I think this one actually recently came out. I did not pick it up or pre-order it, but it's pretty cool. Let's see here. And then this one is the Toyota Crown 3.0 Royal Saloon G. I just thought this thing looked kind of cool. It looks kind of like an American car from like the 80s or whatever. So early 80s, late 80s, I don't know, whatever. I thought that looked kind of cool, so I picked that up from him. And then these other three are fantastic ones. These are ones that when you do see them, if you see them on eBay, they're very, very expensive cars, usually more than I would ever be willing to pay. But he gave me such a good deal on these that I just could not say no. So thank you very much, Travis, for that. We've got the LVN 84D Nissan Fairlady 280Z 2x2. This will be my third variation of this casting in my collection. I've got a white one, or no, not a white one. I don't have the white one. I want the white one. I've got a brown one, and then I've got one that's like all black or brownish. But no, I got a brown one. Yeah, and the other one is like a metal flake black. So now I got this one, which is cool. This one is like a black with like a silver hood, but we'll take a look at that. This is really cool. I did not have this tooling at all. This is a Toyota Supra 2.0 GT. Very, very awesome to get this one. Super stoked to have that in the collection. And then this one here is really cool too. This is a Nissan Safari Extra Van DX. This is a really cool piece too. And this one is not an easy one to come by. Neither of them. The Supra's not easy to come by either. It's a really expensive piece. And so is any of these Nissan Fairladies are tough to get as well. So, pretty good stuff. I do have a lot more to come in the following weeks. I've got a Greenlight case unboxing video, which, we might be time travel again. Maybe I'll film this and post it on Friday. I don't know. No, I probably won't. We'll save this, but this is coming. That's from Diecast Room Detroit Speed Incorporated Series 1. So excited to open up that case. I've got some stuff I still got from Tor, my buddy Tor. Is a super cool dude, so I got some stuff from him. I got a box from Diecast Room that is really, really cool too. So that actually just came in the mail yesterday. And I got a box in the mail from someone else who had emailed me, so we're going to check that out. Probably next episode we'll check that out. I found some stuff at an antique mall. I've got a lot of stuff to kind of share with you guys, and hopefully you enjoy all the content. So let's go ahead and flip the camera around. We'll take a look at these sweet cars, especially these Tomica Limited Vintage, up close, so stay tuned. All right, so we'll kind of do this in the order that we did the first half of the video. We're going to start with this 98 Subaru Impreza 22B STI version. go ahead and just open it up and check out this pretty sweet Zamac model. And there it is. Looking pretty nice. It's just a nice, clean little Hot Wheel. Taillights, headlights, nice and plain on the side. Just looks great. So yeah, I'm going to say I'm a fan of this casting. I think it's pretty awesome, and I think it looks great in Zamac. Definitely cool. So there's the one Hot Wheel, and next we'll do the Johnny Lightning. Start with this one here. So it's Ford GT Muscle Cars. Oh, Muscle Cars Release 15. I already pre-cut the packaging. Save us a little bit of time. There it is in white. Looks pretty good. I think Johnny did a pretty decent job with this casting. I don't know. It's actually probably fairly close to 1/64 scale. I think I've compared it to the Auto Art in length, and I think it's somewhat close. I mean, it's a little bit off. Might be a little bit big, actually, maybe. Which is weird, because usually Johnny Lightning runs small to 1/64. The copyright date on the bottom of this is 2005. So they did put the original casting out probably right around the time the actual car was produced. But I think they did a great job detailing this one. Here's a little card that comes with it. 2005 Ford GT. Here's some information about it. Ford's first production car to surpass the $100,000 price tag. Pretty cool. But yeah. So I collect this casting. I'm a fan of the Ford GT, of course, in all of its forms. So this is pretty cool. The old GT40s, the 2005 Ford GT, and then, of course, the latest generation of Ford GT. All cool to me. Dig them all. And, yeah, it's pretty neat. So it'd be kind of cool to have, like, Mini GT, I think, come up with a Ford GT, like a 2017 Ford GT, and see how that would look. I think they'd do a great job with it. This is the Classic Gold series. So these come in, like, their own, like, almost Protecto style thing. So there's the cardboard in there. It's got like some gold foil printing on there. Looks kind of cool. And it's a thick cardstock, and then it comes with this this case. So a little mirrored back case. Now these cases have been used in, I think they've been used in Racing Champions maybe at a time, and also this exact like case I think was also used by, what was it, Ertl American Muscle. Kind of a cool little mirrored back case. So this is a cool one. This was kind of a tough one to get a hold of. Because this was Johnny Lightning's like real premium line. It's got a little paint rashing on it, not too bad. We'll still take pretty good pictures, and I think it looks pretty good. So looks decent in black metal base, soft rubber tires. And this is a casting that's still in use today. They actually recently put it out. Round 2 put one out in like a diorama, I think it was. They put one out in recently. And I have that one. It looks pretty good. So they've put it out recently. And they also put it out in a Golf 2-pack recently too. Or not, but fairly recently. So pretty cool casting. I like it quite a bit. And like I said, there's a few that I'm missing. There's one that comes with like a model kit that I don't have. I'll have to get. That comes with like a 1/24 scale model kit. That one's actually, you can get it. They're available on eBay. It's just haven't been able to pull the trigger on it yet. Here is this Racing Champions Camaro. It's kind of cool. It's not bad. I'm not a huge fan of the Racing Champions line. they just feel weird. They feel a little cheap, and the proportions tend to be not all that great on most of the castings. This one, I mean, it's got this like chrome metal base, but it just feels, I don't know, strange and cheap. Most of the racing champions just don't do it for me at all. This one's okay though. And then this one, this little Firebird Welly. This is just a cool piece because it's kind of interesting. Just a little cheap thing. It's got suspension. A little bit of it anyway. And it's just a cool little Firebird, so kind of neat. Alright, let's move along here. Let's take a look at the Kyosho we got. So this is a Kyosho Ferrari. The most of what I have for Kyosho is actually Lamborghini. I've got more Lamborghinis than I do Ferrari. And part of that is because I did at one time buy a whole series of Lamborghinis. But I do need to get some more of the Kyosho Ferraris because they really made some great ones. And this one is pretty cool. And I think TLV is coming out with a version of this car pretty soon, right? I think it's a version of this. Pretty awesome though. Love the headlights in the front, how they're like aerodynamic with the car, the covers on them. I think that looks pretty awesome. The black and gold looks really good. I like the gold rims. Black looks pretty awesome. Definitely digging this one. And sneak peek, little teaser here. I did get one of these cars actually in the Diecast box that I just got from him too. It's not black, it's white. But you'll see that in a future episode. These are nice. These come as little model kits. You have to assemble them. Which is kind of nice because you're in control basically how the thing goes together, making sure that it goes together good and that you get a nice little rolling car. And it's really easy to do too. So it's a fantastic little gloss black Ferrari. Pretty awesome. I like it. So there's that. And next we have this ignition model. Toyota Supra. So Ignition's kind of an interesting brand. They generally are, I think they're limited. It's just limited production. I don't know what they're limited to. And I'm not sure actually that they even tell you what they're limited to. I don't know for sure. We're going to go ahead, we're going to unscrew it from the base. They're very fancily packaged. They've got the acrylic case with the cardboard around it. That's pretty basic, I guess. But then they have this textured base. And they got this little metal plate right here. Oddly enough, a lot of times when you see this little metal plate on a die-cast piece that's typically from like China, it's not a licensed piece. Now, I don't know Ignition model, but I'm guessing they are all licensed. I would hope they are. But I know that a lot of times when you see this little metal plate here on a fancy die-cast model, and a lot of times they're like resin and they're expensive and stuff, a lot of times those cars are not actually licensed. Which, I'm not here to get into politics about that, but, it is what it is. Some of them are really, really nice models. They do an excellent job. They just don't license them, and they're still really expensive even without the licensing. So, but yeah, this casting is just completely awesome. You don't get really anything on the bottom, just a IG, I guess, for ignition. These are screwed together, so you could feasibly take them apart and fix one if you get like one that's a little bit wonky out of the package, which is nice. These do not roll in the least. That's not really what they're after here with Ignition model. A lot of these companies make the stuff that just doesn't roll. And I think people have kind of warmed up to that and not really cared about it. The more of them you add to your collection, you stop kind of caring. And I get it, it's a piece that's meant to be displayed, right? It's not meant to really be played with. And, so why care about it rolling? I don't know. To me, I still like the diecast to roll. But so these are kind of like these are almost in a different category to me. These are like, I don't know how to explain it. More like models, like a pre-built model car. So just a stationary display, but it is a cool looking car, and it does look quite good. It's very premium. It looks great. All right, let's take a look at this H2 Hummer from Tomy Limited. This thing is massive. Okay. So I wonder right off the bat, is this close to 1/64 scale? Because these Tomica Limited cars, these are the older, these kind of predate the Tomica Premium line, which is, I think, pretty much replaced this Tomica Limited line. Look at the suspension travel on this. That's major. Okay, it is in 1/67 scale. So it's actually smaller than 1/64 scale, if that scaling is accurate. You can tell this thing's got a little bit of white stuff on the tires. They spent a little bit of time on some dioramas of Travis's, which is totally cool. And looks like the back, is it back open? Yep. The back opens. It's kind of neat. You do forego having actual windows in the back, though, for it to open. And that's the other thing with the Tomica premium cars and stuff like that, limited cars. They oftentimes will have an opening part. These are riveted together. This one's made in Vietnam. Copyright date 2005. That's probably around when it came out. So it's actually a pretty older piece. See, these are almost a crossover between something very, very premium and nice and something that, you know, has got, you know, play value at the same time. And that suspension. It's probably the most suspension travel I've ever had on a diecast car in my collection. So this wins that award, if there is one. All right. And then lastly, I'm just going to grab all these out here and get them close. We're going to go over these Tomica Limited vintage cars. So we have a total of, looks like 7 cars here. We're just going to grab them, look at them, and enjoy them. Starting with LVN Tomica Limited Vintage Neo 179 version C. I love their numbering system, by the way. It's great. Toyota Mark II 3.0 Grande G. They get very specific with the trim and model of the car that they're doing, which is very Tomica Limited Vintage. The boxes on these cars, not in the greatest of shape, and I just can't bring myself to care about it. I know the box condition does affect the value, much as leaving a card, leaving a Hot Wheels in a card. It does as well, but just having the box is nice because you have somewhere to store the model should you need to. But yeah, see how sweet this thing is? Like, this is a car that I would have never, ever paid attention to prior to this. This one's got the side mirrors, super clear plastic for the windows. The wheels look great. You got lens details for headlights and taillights, and metal base, rubber tires. It's got suspension, a little bit of suspension travel, not a lot on this one. And there's a little flaw right there. Oh, no, that rubbed right off. And it rolls pretty good. And it's just this nice champagne color. So, and that's the other thing. The Tomica, the cars always look lamer on the boxes than they do when you pull them out. They just, the printing style, like the style of how they have the printing or whatever, just doesn't do the car justice than when you pull it out of the box. And then you see this, and it's like, oh wow, that color looks a lot better.
pretty awesome. So, like I said, a car I would have never gave a second look to if they would have released it, and now having it in the collection, it's actually a really cool piece. I think it's actually a pretty awesome little model. All right, another one that's kind of like that. This is LVN 203 version A, so limited vintage Neo 203 version A. Nissan Gloria, Gran Turismo Ultima. By the way, you can also tell kind of how old the cars are by both the kind of the LV, the number, the higher the number, the newer they are, and then the version number. So this was version A, and usually they release two versions of the tooling at once. So this is the Nissan Gloria Gran Turismo Ultima. Can we get this out? There we go. Huge fan of box packaging. It's my favorite. Although the one irritating thing about it is now I got to save this box, and so the box has to have a home too. So you have to have space. If you're displaying the cars, you got to have space for the cars to display, and then you got to have space to store the boxes. But these cars are worth taking up 2 spots. And nice pearl-ish white color. Wheels look good. Again, rubber tires. It's got suspension. And since this car is the version A, I mean, you can just look at the copyright date and it'll tell you if it's got one on here. 2019. So this is a recent release. So this is one that I would have passed up completely. I did pass it up because I probably ordered something from this release. But now having the car in my hands, it looks quite nice. This might be one that you can actually get fairly reasonable too. It's not going to be an expensive car. And it might be boring to a lot of you, but I think it's pretty cool. All right, next, let's take a look at this. This is LVN 122, so limited vintage Neo 122 version A, Nissan Cedric 2000 GL. The box is a little worse for wear, but we're going to go ahead and open it up. It's not going to see the inside of this box for a very long time now. Once it goes in a display case. And let's take a look at that one. So again, the color on the box just does not do this thing any justice compared to the color of the car when you get it out of the package and take a peek at it. See a beautiful metal flake color, brown, again, suspension. Again, of course, being a Tomica limited vintage, it's extremely detailed. Look at the front of that car. Oh, yeah, taillights look super cool. And so, since this was a version A, right, let's go ahead and look at the base. 2014 is what it looks like. So this car is already... There's a little flaw right there. Gotta be real picky to see that. But, so this car is already, what did I say, 2014? It's already 6 years old. Beautiful car. I love how clear the windows are. You can see like the inside molding of the door on the other side. And it just doesn't really get any better than Tomica Limited Vintage. They're just very, very impressive. So here is LVN 199 version B, which is the Toyota Crown 3.0 Royal Saloon G. This is the only annoying thing I'm going to say right away about Tomica Limited Vintage. When they put pieces in here that you have to add to the car if you want to, and I never do. Never add the pieces because you got to glue them in place, and it's like, no, not going to do it. So this one still has the piece, that little bumper piece. It's still right here in its original package. This is the version B of the car, so likely this came out at the same time as one other color. So we should be able to actually peek at the date on the bottom and find out when it came out, which we'll do right away. 2018, so a fairly newer one. This looks awesome. I quite like it. The only other argument I would have against TLV is I do kind of wish they would blackwash their rims to give them a little bit more depth. Because I think it would look better if this thing was blackwashed and you could see like more dark in the crevices of the wheel. I think that would look quite a bit better if they did that. Again, super detailed though. Super detailed. Look at the small writing on here is just crazy. Everything about that is just nuts. It's just a fantastic looking car. Again, suspension, all that good stuff. All that good stuff you'd expect from Tomica Limited, and a really cool color. I don't think I have one in this color. This is, I think, a pretty unique color for the TLV collection. Let's see if we got that high mount stop right there in the window. That's really, really, really awesome. Yeah, I just don't think you can argue with it. Now, the one thing you could argue is that they just don't put out a lot of cars that you may personally not be interested in, or that they don't put out a lot of cars that you might be interested in, and I get that. I totally get that. But the quality is pretty crazy. So here is LVN 84 version D Nissan Fairlady 280Z T 2x2. Pretty cool. This one shows the mirrors up here, but I don't think it ever came with mirror pieces to add on, and it doesn't have the mirrors obviously on the car itself. So here is this beauty. Such an awesome little car. See here, it's got like the black, the wash in the wheels. Or are those actual holes in the wheel? I don't know, whatever they are. That makes it look good, so it actually has some depth in the wheel. This one has just a minor little paint rashing, which happens on all diecast really, as I'm discovering. Once you get enough cars and you look really, really closely at them, that does happen. It's some sort of weird thing with the clear coat, I think. Messing with like the undercoat. Something like that, or vice versa. So the original casting probably came out in 2013. This one probably came out some years later, I'm guessing. I hope they release this car again, because this is a fantastic tooling. So if they release another version of it, I'm definitely game for getting it. But again, it's supremely detailed. It looks absolutely fantastic with the, the detailed headlights, detailed taillights, all that good stuff. Absolutely good. So we'll put that one aside, and we got two more to do. Let's do the Supra next. LVN 106B Toyota Supra 2.0 GT. Again, an added piece that I don't think is installed on the vehicle. We'll find out when we pull it out. Nope, there it is right there. Not even gonna entertain opening that. Put that right back in the box. And look at this car. This is cool. Supra. Come on, is that not fantastic? I think that's fantastic. Again, it's got suspension. This is version B of the car, so we should be able to peek at the base and get an idea. 2015 is what it looks like. This is already a tough one to get. 5 years ago came out, and now it's probably going to be very expensive. It's going to cost you a lot of money if you're just searching eBay for it. I got lucky, and I got a friend that gave me a good buddy price on this thing. So that's pretty awesome. Super cool. Definitely digging it. Just a fantastic add to the collection. So that one I was really excited about getting. And then this one too is very, very cool. So this is LVN 109A and the Nissan Safari Extra Van Deluxe or DX. I don't know if that means deluxe or not. So the box is a little rough, but who cares, really? And we'll pull this one out. Look at that bad boy. All right. So this is a version A. So again, came out in 2015. It looks like. This is super cool. Oh man, look at the detail on the front of that thing. Looks great. Detail in the rear looks great. It's got a full spare on the underside there. So some of the trucks, it's an interesting thing. Some of the trucks have plastic bases. This actually has a plastic base. Doesn't matter, but the cars with the plastic base unfortunately don't have suspension. It'd be cool if the truck had suspension. It definitely would be cool, but it doesn't, and that's okay. It's still a very, very nice model. It's not like you sit there and bounce these cars anyway, so the suspension is kind of a nice touch, but I mean, the thing rolls. That's a nice one. Definitely digging that. All right, so we went long on the second half. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Mostly premium stuff today. We're going to be mixing it up in the coming weeks, so stay tuned. And thank you guys again for watching another weekly video. Hope you enjoyed this again. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. You guys have an excellent week.